Why did a gaze that lasted merely a few seconds become one of the most legendary acting moments in South Korean cinema history? The very moment his big brother Ding Ching closed his eyes forever before him, hesitation and kindness within Li Jae-sung vanished into ashes. He wanted to be a good cop. He wanted to protect his family. A little more than anything, when Li Jae-sung uncovered his own police undercover file inside the safe in Ding Ching's office, enlightenment struck him like a thunderbolt. Yet Ding Ching, the gang leader he was supposed to view as a mortal enemy, chose to guard his secret at the brink of life and death. He shielded him at the cost of his own life. He made up his mind. He would seize the crown of the Gold Moon Syndicate was officially set into motion. It unveiled a suffocating threefold purge. First, to bear the brunt were everyone in the police force who knew his undercover identity. He left not a single soul alive, as his superior, Section Chief Kang, watched those cold-blooded Yambian hitmen slowly closing in at the abandoned construction site. He knew deep down, Li Jae-sung had crossed into total darkness. Simultaneously, Bureau Chief Gao's car was forced to a halt at a railway crossing. He was shot in the head at point-blank range inside the vehicle. At this point, every person on Earth who knew Li Jae-sung's true identity became a corpse. Next was the reckoning with his rival Lee Jong-gu. The culprit indirectly responsible for Ding Ching's demise met his doomed fate on the very day of his release from prison. He was brutally shoved off a high-rise building. He crashed heavily onto the pavement. The final stroke was an internal purge of syndicate dissenters. Director Zhang had been lurking in the shadows, hoping to reap the spoils without lifting a finger. He originally plotted an ambush along Li Jae-sung's route to the meeting. Little did he expect that Li Jae-sung had already bought off all of his subordinates in secret. Director Zhang was subdued on the spot. He was stuffed straight into a prepared vehicle. Then he was rolled off a cliff alongside the car. When news of the bloody purge reached the board of directors, the veteran shareholders present were overcome with silence and terror. The entire conference room reeked of suffocating dread. No one had anticipated that Li Jae-sung, usually so mild-mannered, would wield methods far more ruthless than those of his big brother. The heavy doors were slowly pushed open. Li Jae-sung wore a tailored black suit over a crisp white shirt. His face was entirely devoid of emotion. Not a single trace of confusion remained in his eyes. He walked straight toward the throne that symbolized absolute power. Li Jae-sung officially assumed office as the new chairman. The dust finally settled. After the meeting, Li Jae-sung sat alone in the vast hollow chairman's office. Flicking his lighter, he personally set fire to the last remaining undercover file on his desk. As the flames flickered, he burned away his past entirely. Along with it, he burned the soul named Police Officer Li Jae-sung. Then, he lit his very first cigarette as chairman, wrapped in swirling smoke. Yet at that exact moment, memories from 6 years ago irresistibly flashed across his mind. Those were the early days when he and his brother Ding Ching were just starting out. On that rainy night 6 years ago, they fought back to back in a cramped space. They carved out a blood-soaked path, even drenched in blood. Their last remained wild, arrogant, and pure. 6 years later, he had finally ascended to the absolute peak of power. Yet the man who used to call him brother was no longer there. Now he was left all alone, the top.